Hello everyone. It's been a while since I last uploaded my video. I've just been doing a lot of League Start stuff. I've kind of been grinding a lot of red maps, trying to get all my watchstones, beat Sirius, all that stuff. Just really enjoying the league. I think it's been a pretty fun one so far, so it's kind of been hard to pull away from it, but I figured I should make an update video just so people kind of know what's going on and hopefully to kind of steer you guys in the right direction. I tried a few things out, and I'd like to kind of just throw some stuff out there for those of you who may have some questions on kind of what to do with your minion build going forward. First of all, it went absolutely amazing. Totally expected. Minions were still super, super good, practically busted, just for how free it's been. I started as specters, and I have my zombies out, of course, and some skeletons, but the specters were doing a lot of the grunt work of just like clearing and whatnot. And this is kind of what my tree looked like. Uh, Obviously, I got a tabula right away. That's just about all you need. To increase my clear speed a lot, I did buy an unending hunger. This is super, super nice. It has a 50% chance to have your specters gain Soul Eater for 30 seconds on kill. With Solar Guards, you do need to make sure you're convocating your Solar Guards closer to the minions because they can be out of range of the Soul Eater. So that's just something to keep in mind, but it doesn't really make it any less worse for them. It's still really good. What you want to use as your first Spectre right away, pretty much once you get to Act 8. I just about rushed to the zone, had my friend portal me in. We both got our Solar Guards. It was super sick. They have a Fireball ability that you can socket, and you should, to spell echo and greater multiple projectiles, as well as faster projectiles, because that will be your AoE clearing ability. They're just going to be like shooting that out constantly. They also get a beam attack, which is pretty nice. It just does a nice amount of AoE damage. It's kind of like their single target option. They are super sick. They're like hands down the best AoE clearing Spectre. It just made AoE clearing the whole game like so free. You just like are constantly running, convocating them onto you, and your zombies are just like sitting there chasing you, and they'll clean up whatever they need to. And your skeletons were super sick as well. You just put down skeletons for extra single target on the boss, and then you kind of just have to sit there and wait for them to do their work. It was a absolute blast as a league starter just because of how free it was. All the way to red maps, I had absolutely no troubles with Solar Guards. I did swap off of Solar Guards though onto slave drivers, but only once I got to high tier maps. I'm talking T12, T13, and plus. Before that, Solar Guards were actually like the absolute best. Super super good, no issues, no complaints there. But on those high red maps, I did want to start kind of rushing the bosses down a bit more and having the metamorphs be a little safer for me, just for killing them faster. And that's where Slave Driver comes in. You still want Unending Hunger for your Slave Drivers. It's still super sick. And even more so, because they'll be kind of in melee range. They have like a little lightning whip kind of cone thing that they'll shoot out, and they get Soul Eater stacks much more often than Solar Guards because they're practically in melee range. So they're never out of range to get a Soul Eater stack. And so they have their Lightning Whip and their Slave Driver Lightning Whip. This is just like the single target beast of Spectres. Just like before, yeah, you want Spell Echo and a bunch of damaging supports, minion damage, all of that. They are bonkers on single target, and that is why I swapped to them. You do lose a little bit of your AoE clearing, right? Because you don't have the fireballs GMPing everywhere. But that's okay because you can kill metamorphs and the map bosses, and that's kind of what this league is about, is high-end mapping and bossing. Unfortunately for the Awakener fight, your Spectres will kind of just run around, same with zombies. They're going to run around and die. All you really need to do is have some skeletons and maybe even a decoy totem if you're having troubles taking a bunch of hits. I didn't do that right away. I've had the Awakener fight a few times, and I've tried multiple things with my Spectres and zombies, and it didn't work out. But I've seen a lot of people have success with skeleton. So I mean, it should be fine. If you just like summon your skeletons on them, you just won't be able to rely on your zombies or your specters. So you will want to change your skeletons into a 6-link once you get to that fight. But after that, the mechanics aren't terrible. It seems they've made the balls a little bit easier. You kind of just have to be wary of where you're putting them. Always be mindful of what's going on. But there are much better videos for that. This is just a league update video for my league start. So this is pretty much what my tree looked like. I grabbed a little bit of spell block because why not? You know, it's 2 points for 8 spell block. That's pretty freaking good. I put Unending up here, Unending Hunger. It's, you know, just an easy spot to put it. You're just grabbing life, minion stuff, minions, you know, pretty much every minion thing, and then a ton of life. You just get the life up there in Chaos Res. Life, you know, minion stuff, grabbing some of the Scion life wheel. I came down to get the 5 physical reduction and +1 to all max res. That's pretty nice, as well as not leeching and, you know, just more life. I did swap this build though once I got to high tier maps into something slightly more spicy as a minion build, and that is a Baron build with Montugrel's Grasp. First of all, to talk about the league starter with the specters, 2 convoking ones with like +1 to all minion gems is super sick. You can just like have both of those, and then you get a bunch of other minion things. If you need minion speed, that's really nice. If you need minion damage, I've also seen some people do SRS. I never did SRS. I had no troubles with just my specters AoE clearing, and then my slave drivers were all right enough, and my skeletons for single target in the high maps. But apparently SRS is also pretty nice if you just get a bunch of minion speed on your convoking wands and get the +1 to all minion skills and whatnot on your convoking wands. So that's kind of what you would do for your weapon upgrade. Other than that, you're kind of just getting some life. There are some minion uniques you can pick up, but I found that, you know, I was really just needing a lot more life, a lot more ways to mitigate damage, which is exactly why I then switched to the Baron build. I switched to Baron build because its one-hander is super sick since you're relying on zombies. They deal 99, well, you can get the high roll on it. They'll deal like 80 to 100% more physical damage. The important part is enemies killed by zombies will explode, dealing 20% of their max life as fire damage. So that's kind of like an Impulso's deal, right? Not involving shocks, but involving your zombie killing something, that thing exploding, and it kind of creates Herald of Ice and Impulsos, Herald of Ash, you know, that kind of like explosion effect, which makes AoE clearing, or just clearing in general, a lot better, instead of relying on each single zombie, or even just melee splash on your zombies, running and hitting them a few times. My zombies would just run up, pop up, kill like 1 or 2 things in a pack, and the whole pack would explode. It made blights, like high blights, absolutely free. You know, everything is just really good with that explosion. I did try to swap to a different weapon, Queen's Escape, because it gives a absolute crap load of minion speed, but I found I was really missing that zombie killing explosion, even though I did have twice as many zombies. You know, it's just so hard to pass up. It also lets you have like this nice shield. You know, you just get strength, life, and res. That's pretty much what the Baron is. You know, you have the Baron, and this is the cool part, right? I swapped to this in high tier maps because I needed some more survivability. I was getting really tired of dying to metamorph bosses, and so I swapped to Joffrey's Sanctuary for my chest. Up until that, I had Tabula. Even in like red maps, I was doing 14s and whatever in a Tabula. I could have upgraded to a 6-link whatever, but I just figured, you know, it wouldn't have been worth it because I knew I was going to swap to a kind of different version of a minion build eventually. And so I swapped to a 6-link Joffrey's Sanctuary. This is nice because it gives life, it gives a decent amount of ES, and since we're stacking strength, it gives us 2 flat energy shield per 5 strength, as well as Zealot's Oath. Now, so we get a bunch of flat energy shield from Joffrey's, and if you have the money, you can get a Shaper's Touch for a bunch of percent energy shield. And so my ES is 4,600. That is all free ES. So if we take off Shaper's Touch, it goes down to 1,370. So that's pretty much all flat energy shield I'm getting from, whoops, that was Joffrey's. It goes down to 23, which is all the flat energy shield I'm getting from Joffrey's. I did, let's see, where are they? I did have these gloves that I got for like 30 chaos or something for a while. Just life, res, some ES. It's totally fine not to have Shaper's Touch. It's just like a huge survivability increase because you do get a lot of free energy shield. So 46 ES, 4600 ES, 4700 life. That's pretty sick. You get the boots that give you 18% strength, some chaos res, extra skeleton, doesn't hurt. Astromendus is a little pricey. I had this allocate death attunement. So the +1 Spectre Zombie Skeleton node up here, just because it's really out of the way versus over here, you know, you're kind of getting a little bit of the ES stuff over at Witch. The tree, you know, it doesn't change much if you notice. You know, I kind of swapped some things around. You don't really need the nodes up here for your zombies. You want to get some more jewel sockets, some of the ES stuff. I did, first of all, when I first went this way, I didn't have all the points down here. So I lost the bunch of strength, the max res, the fizz reduction, took these off, and I went with some of the hybrids. I got both hybrid wheels, and that was pretty all right. But I did want to hit that 1200 strength so that I could get that extra zombie, since the Baron gives you an extra zombie per 300 strength. Now, you have to keep in mind, so I'm at, my zombies are, where are they? So the zombies have to be rounded. Oh yeah, let's take off Montegrills. So active minion limit is 9. Now it's at 13 with the Baron, but Montegrill's Grasp will round that down. So you'll be at 6. You have to hit 14. So it doesn't matter between, at least right now, it doesn't matter between 1,000 or, yeah, because you want to hit 1,000 with the Baron to get the damage dealt by your zombies leached to you as life, since you're using Zealot's Oath, which will make your life regeneration affect your energy shield. You at least have to hit 1,000 strength, but it's every 300 gets you an extra zombie. So once you hit 1,200 strength, you won't get that extra zombie unless you make sure your zombie is a level 19 or 20, depending on which empower you have. So at 20, you need a level 4 empower. If you get a 21, you can get away with a level 3 empower to get that extra zombie. But you do need to raise it up to level 25 at least to get the extra zombie out of it. Just because you need to hit 14 zombies without Montegrill's Grasp, because it will round it down if you get into those in-between numbers. You know, you can't have 6.5 zombies. It's 6 or 7. So if you want to hit 7, you know, make sure you have a 21 zombie with Empower 3 or a 20 zombie with Empower 4. Otherwise, don't worry about getting past 1,000 strength. You know, it's kind of just like an extra little flex. The rings were just strength, you know, all attributes, strength, res. Chaos res is really nice, just because a lot of damage will be going through your ES shield, because that's what chaos does. There's kind of that poison snake guy. He's really annoying. On your belt, you just get percent attributes and strength. You just got to get what you can. Just pretty much stacking strength in your rings, belts, and your shield. All these other are uniques you kind of need, except Shaper's Touch you can get away with not having. You can just have a whatever, but you do get a lot of ES from it. For jewels, Brawn is really nice. 6% increased strength, 10% reduced intelligence, so you lose some int, which kind of stinks because you are doing energy shield now, but that's okay. So you get bronze. You can get some efficient trainings. I have an efficient training here. You can get in another efficient training where I put my unending hunger, so I can get even more strength out of this. Put in an efficient training here. You could come down here if you need and put another efficient training there. Otherwise, you can just fill out whatever other slots you have with more bronze, or if you need res and life and strength, then you got to do that. You don't really need more than like 1 or 2 efficient trainings to get 1,000 strength if your gear is like pretty alright. You just kind of have to POB it, path of building it, and see what you need. Alright, so for the specters, I found you can get away with just raise specter, minion life, blood magic, and then you can even put your animate guardian on here if you want to screw around with that. You can equip some really nice kind of like cheap uniques on it. It'll probably die to some of the conquerors and metamorph bosses if you don't have it at a really high level, and make sure it has its like tankiness all set on its uniques. You do have to give it some kind of resistances here and there, maybe some life and stuff like that, a lot of flat life, but you can kind of get away with it when you do minion life. You want blood magic on your specters because you will be doing Carnage Chieftain and Host Chieftain. Carnage Chieftain will be giving you frenzy charges, and you do blood magic because it uses Carnage Chieftain's mana, and if you don't have blood magic, it uses the mana and then it won't give frenzy charges for a while. Whereas when you do it on blood magic, it'll be able to give frenzy charges much more often, and your minions will always have max frenzy charges. Exactly the same thing with Host Chieftain, but for power charges. It's very, very nice. You get free frenzy and free power charges for all of your minions. All right. So you're relying on zombies. You have all your zombie clear from the explosions from Montagruel's Grasp. So how are you going to survive? You are going to use Spirit Offering, which grants you your minions 30% of their physical damage as extra cast. That's pretty nice for your zombies. It's pretty good. The important thing, though, is that they gain 4% of their max life as extra maximum ES for each corpse consumed, which means you do as well. When you cast Cyclone, or when you channel Cyclone, it will cast Desecrate. It will spawn 5 corpses. You will then consume those 5 corpses for 20% of your maximum life as extra energy shield. So you're cycloning, Desecrate, Spirit Offering, Desecrate, Spirit Offering, 20%, 20%, 20%. It's every 0.7 seconds. You're getting 20% of your maximum life as energy shield. That is pretty freaking sick. So your ES gets really, really big. You have still a nice pool of life. So you get to 11k effective HP. If you need later on, you can kind of do some crazy 2-hand weapon that makes your zombies like level 30. You get +1 to the skills, and then the supported gems with a level 4 empower in there. It will get your zombie to level 30 if it's a level 21 zombie. So in that 6-link, you could even do like a Fortify in here if you'd like. So you can do Fortify. You can also do Infused Channeling, so to get even more survivability. So you could have that in your chest piece instead, and now your zombie link in your other one if you do need survivability. This is kind of a rippy kind of league. So you have that, and then you get some physical damage reduction because you're using Cyclone. And then, of course, you have casting damage on Mortal Call or Steel Skin if you'd like. I like Immortal Call because you do have Bone Armor, which is another 2600 effective HP. You do Discipline, and you'll do Skitterbots because you need more ES and you want everything shocked. Your curse should be Vulnerability, and that should be just about everything. You just stack a bunch of strength, and you're going to be totally fine. the clear is a little bit slower than the Spectres, but that's because Spectres are absolutely bonkers and like white and yellow maps at clearing. When you're doing 16s, corrupted, absolutely juiced out of your mind with sextants and prophecies and a metamorph boss, yes, it will take a little bit longer, but you're going to be dying much, much less. You're still going to get one shot out of nowhere because metamorph's dumb, but that's okay. That's just part of the league. You're not playing hardcore, hopefully. So, you just had to accept that if you're doing some nutty T16 metamorphs. But when you have the Shaper's Touch, all of this stuff, you get an insane effective HP pool for what really isn't that much. You can totally upgrade a bunch more. You can get up to like 8k ES without Spirit Offering. If you get to like 2k strength, you can absolutely juice your character out of your mind. For me, I had swapped after this build because I got 2 inspired learning drops, which is insanely lucky. So some of you might have noticed if you're watching the stream or keeping up, I had swapped to cast on crit just because I wanted to kind of see those inspired learning things. I wanted to use them. I wanted to be a speedy boy, get really big off Soul Eater, all that jazz. So that's what I'm doing now. I didn't swap off this because, it wasn't that good. Like, it's absolutely insane. I'm dying way more on my cast on crit character, but I knew that going in. This character is like super, super nice. I'm just like constantly moving and surviving. But anyway, I wanted to keep this short. I'm sorry I wasn't too short of a video, but I just want to give an update for you guys. But I appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one.